Welcome. Okay, so this is going to be a kind of a non-MGTOW video. I know it's unusual, but it's just something I'd like to get out there and like to share with you, because I don't think a lot of people know. I would just like to say that where I come from, you only go around the planet once, don't you? It's very important how you act through your life, you know, so you have honor, truthfulness, loyalty. Those sort of things are important to me and my family, and they were important to my father and his father before him. And that's why I'm going to tell you something I found out about that kind of like destroys that. And this is something I dislike. So everybody probably knows or has probably heard about the film Jaws, the first film. I'd just like to say something about the actor in it. Do you remember Richard Dreyfuss, who I thought played a very good part? And of course Robert Shaw, which played a good part as well, and he was a great actor. And apparently Robert Shaw kind of bullied Richard Dreyfuss quite a lot, because Richard Dreyfuss was a bit of a simp, I guess, and Robert Shaw was a man's man. I found a very almost black and white, I think it was black and white, interview that they did with Richard Dreyfuss when he was a young man, just after they finished the filming of Jaws. It hadn't been released yet. And apparently Jaws, the film, was basically, a lot of it was filmed, I think, on an island somewhere or someplace. And half the time the shark was a machinery thing, didn't work. And that's why in the film you hardly ever see the shark, because it was broken most of the time and didn't work. But that actually played good in the film. It kind of made a mystique for the shark. But there was loads of problems on the set of Jaws, and it almost folded and ran out of money. But anyway, they interviewed Richard Dreyfuss after the film had been complete, but wasn't released yet. And they asked him what he thought. And he told them that it was probably the worst work he's ever done. He said it was a terrible script, terrible sight to work on, and the film was going to turn out probably to be no good. And he's very embarrassed to have even done it. And you could tell in the interview that he meant it. But of course, as we all know, the film was a mammoth success. It was the best film that had been out for years, and people flocked to see it. And it was a success financially as well. Probably one of the biggest films that had been out for a very long time. And after quite some time, I don't know, maybe, I think a little while, a year maybe even, they interviewed Richard Dreyfuss again. Well, somebody else did, and asked him about the film. And Richard Dreyfuss said it was the best work he's ever done, and he completely switched it all around. He was lying. And he said how he knew the film was going to be a good success and everything. And that's when I thought to myself, I don't like this goddamn Richard Dreyfuss guy. He obviously has no character, and he's a simp and a liar. And no wonder Robert Shaw wanted to punch him one. In fact, if you take a look at the scene in the boat when they're talking about their scars and everything, Robert Shaw is actually really bullying Richard Dreyfuss, and it shows, but it makes a good film anyway. So anyway, that's what I'm just saying. So if anybody didn't know, I never liked Richard Dreyfuss after that, because you can't believe a word he says. He obviously doesn't have any character or any depth, any honor, any loyalty. He's just not a real man. And I'm afraid that's what men are turning out to be now, a lot of them. They seem to have taken the values from that, and they don't have any real values. Not all men, some men are actually waking up. But you know, mostly every man I know loves to watch a cowboy. And why is that? Because men are men, and they have loyalty, they have honor, they have dignity. And that's why men like to watch that. Because that's who we are. That's who we should be. Of course, let's not talk about the Jaws 3 or Jaws 4 or Son of Jaws or whatever. They were disgusting. Anyway, a lot of people probably won't even be interested in that sort of story, but at least I've got it out there and it's off my chest, and I feel damn a lot better. So I'm just gonna go outside and go for a walk in the forest. Whoops, no forest around me here. I'll just go to the park.